All right, Brendan, man, the season's back on, and it's been a few months, but I know you've been grinding extremely, extremely hard, especially out in Phuket. Talk about another trip out there and who you've been working with out there.
Always good to go back to Phuket. Feel like it's my second home. Feel like my soul's in Thailand. I was upset that COVID shut the place down for 2 years. And now it's back up and running. Brendan was back over there. I was loving it. Great training. Chamayev was over there. Rafael Fazayev, Peter Yan, Damiris Magulov, just to name a few. Like, there's so many that people don't even know about yet. Insane level of talent. And I had a fantastic camp. And I'm here now in Dallas, ready.
Yeah, and you got this guy coming up. He's a newcomer to the PFL. Ryoji Kudo. He's a former Shudo champ. Has good experience over in Japan. Fought for one championship. What is your overall thoughts on him and the style that he brings?
A bit of a wild card. We don't really know too much about him. At least with Wade, Bubba, Shaman, all these guys, like, we know him, we've seen him, they fought in the UFC high levels. Whereas this guy, we don't really know too much about him. I feel like I've been dealt the wild card for this one. I know he's got good fast hands. He's got a good few knockouts on his on resume. So, always makes for an exciting fight when they put me in with another striker, as we know.
Definitely, definitely. And were you kind of surprised that they gave you a newcomer instead of giving you one of the guys that have been in previous seasons?
I mean, this is what I love about PFL. There's no, you could get anyone. Like, literally, there's 9 other guys, and you're gonna fight 4 of them, and it's like, could be either one of them. So you have to be prepared for all 9, and I am this year, 100%.
It's a new season. You've been part of other seasons. Is the mentality any different heading into this one?
Not really, no. I mean, I've only done one season before, and I had to learn the hard way a few things about training, pacing yourself, tournament formats, the fact that it's a marathon, not a sprint. There's a lot of things that I took away from last year and went back to the drawing board with, and now I'm here again, refreshed.
Yeah, that's something that I want to talk about a little bit more in detail. Is like, what exactly did you learn from last season, and then you made the tweaks and changes so you'd be ready for this season coming up?
I learned a hell of a lot about myself and about, again, pacing yourself. 4 weight cuts in 5 months. There was injuries along the way. You have to be away from home, and there's just so many things that go into this tournament that people don't see. So last year was like a test run, trial run, if you will. But I always did look up and down the roster last year and say, Movlead was going to be a stiff matchup. But up and down this year, I think it's mine to lose this year for sure.
Yeah, you're definitely one of the favorites coming in. And you mentioned 4 weight cuts in 5 months. That is a hell of a a journey right there, man, because nobody likes weight cuts. So, like, what did you take away from those weight cuts that is going to help you with these coming up?
I mean, you never take anything away from a weight cut, really, apart from fucking weight. But yeah, I mean, like, I'll give you an example. Last year for Shaman on the Saturday, Monday morning, I'm doing sprints in the gym, like stupid stuff like that, like immature. So I've just grown out of that stuff now, and this year I'll be pacing myself a lot more, taking the breaks when needed. I'm 32 now, not 22, and I know how my body operates and how it performs its best, and I think that's the best thing that I'll take away from last year and bring into this year.
Besides yourself, who do you feel like are one of the favorites, possibly to make it to the finals against you?
I mean, you've always got to say Chris Wade is in there because he's always, it seems to make the final 4, final 2. He's always going to be up there. Bubba's always going to be a difficult fight. Palmer. And then all these new wild cards that they've thrown in, really good guys as well. So who knows? Like, it's like putting them all in a washing machine and then just like, yeah, let's go. Like, it's so many different styles rolled into one. So that's what makes this truly the hardest night in combat sports. It makes it the hardest competition around. I really do think that.
Yeah, those wild cards, they make it pretty interesting. Now, going back to your training camp in Phuket, right? Like, I see that, you put a lot of photos up of you or videos up of you, training your hands, your striking. talk about the development and like the steps that you've taken in the last 6 months or so of developing your striking to another level, because it's a never ending journey, right? Developing skills.
Definitely a never-ending journey, but I would say I only posted 10% of my striking, but the last two camps have been 90% wrestling and grappling, weights, conditioning. I've left my striking to one side for a little bit because that's going nowhere. And I know that realistically, 90% of the guys in this tournament are going to try to wrestle me. So, that's really what we focused on. My coach said, get yourself to Thailand, get amongst the best wrestlers you can, get on the floor, and then get up, get on the floor, out grapple them, things like that, and bad positions. And this is the sort of stuff that I'm really tuned in. And then 6 weeks out from the fight, they give me Kudo, who looks like another striker. So I'm like, okay, sweet, let's go back to that for a little bit. So, I mean, I'm sure I'll meet these wrestlers down the line, and that work will all come to fruition.
It still cracks me up that people are going to Thailand for wrestling and grappling, but there are some of the best coaches out there, right?
I mean, wrestling and grappling in Thailand is huge. Like, I'll give you an example. The wrestling class there at Tiger Muay Thai on a Thursday, there's over 100 people on the mat, 100, like all professional, pretty much 90% professionals, all high level, all from Dagestan, Russia, all from like all these well-known wrestling countries, and the level of wrestling is phenomenal.
Coming up on this fight, I mean, what are your expectations out of yourself against Kudo?
It's always fireworks. Come on, let's have it right. Shayman Moraes, it was fireworks. Tyler Diamond, it was fireworks. Movlid, not so much, but that wasn't down to me. Me, I was in the pocket, I was ready. So let's see what this guy brings to the table. Like I say, bit of a wild card, but I'm prepared for absolutely every one of these guys.
I just want to get some quick picks from you with this featherweight division. Who are you taking between Palmer and Wade?
I've been going back and forth with my coach. He's like, "Oh, I think Wade," and I'm like, maybe Palmer's come back, reinvented himself a bit. Maybe he's not. 50-50, bro, in my eyes, that one.
What about Bokniak and Jenkins?
Another 50-50, bro. Like, you got the great wrestler and the grindy striker. That's tough as nails. So it's hard to get Botniak out of there. After watching him against Zabit and all these guys, he's a dangerous guy. So again, another bit of a wild card. So 50-50 fight again.
Moraes and Salmon?
Don't know enough about Salmon, to be honest. I watched his fight on the Challenger. Looked good. So yeah, that'll be a good fight.
And then this one is probably the least familiar to most fans, is the Flores versus Balagi.
To be honest, bro, that's the one that I've got my eyes on the most, because them two guys are new. They both got good records. They both look dangerous. So that's the one I got my eyes on.
And with this season, I mean, like, are they doing the two fights in one night? Are they doing that this time around?
No.
Oh, so they're continuing what they did last year.
Yeah, I don't know why they've stopped that, but I was really looking forward to doing that. They stopped that the season that I came. I was so upset about that.
Yeah, I think a lot of fighters are interested in that, to see what they're capable of, right? Fighting twice in one night. I mean, not many guys have experienced that. Yeah, I'm pretty kind of shocked that they didn't bring it back with, COVID kind of relaxing and not being as serious as it was the last couple of years. But we'll see what happens next season, I guess. A couple more questions, man. Outside of your fight, crypto has become this like huge thing, right? With MMA, it's just like everywhere, like all these companies. What are your thoughts on crypto, and would you ever consider being paid in crypto, like your fight purse?
Wow, that's a super random question, but I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah, I've actually got quite a lot of crypto. I've got a pretty healthy wallet myself, so of course I would. I wouldn't take my full purse in Bitcoin, but I would take the majority of my purse in Bitcoin for sure.
All right. And PTSD in combat sports, not CTE, but PTSD from like maybe weight cuts or injuries or even damage taken in a fight. Some fighters get it from even losing. Have you ever experienced this in the past and overcame it or seen it around you?
PTSD, eh? I mean,
Yeah.
you got to look at the guys that are losing a lot. Like, I think losing becomes a habit at some point. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to shake the habit when there's a few in a row. But I mean, I've definitely, been in around the sport a long time. I've seen a lot of people lose and never come back from the loss. I've seen people get knocked out brutally, and then, like, for example, last year, Shaman, after the fight, 4 weeks later, 5 weeks later, was after our fight, was there, and he was about to fight Movlead, and then Movlead pulled out with staff. But that just shows you the resilience of Shaman and how crazy this tournament is, because that was such a bad knockout, and to come back like he did, the guy's a warrior, and if that's anything to go by, then he can turn stuff around. He lost to me and then won 2 in a row. It's crazy, bro. This told you this tournament's wild.
It is wild. And last question. Right now, currently, I am embedded with the fight team, and I'm training to fight in 6 months. What kind of advice can you give me?
Is this an actual question or?
No, this is a real question. I'm here training to fight in 6 months with the fight team. I just want to get some advice from a real fighter.
Nice, bro. What team are you training at?
Bang Tao.
Oh, okay. Best advice I can give you: listen to Frank Hickman, listen to George Hickman, do your shit with Woody, get on the pads with John Boy, and bro, you're in good hands. You could not be in better hands. Bang Tao doing great things over there. My boys, love them guys from the bottom of my heart, and I hope they fucking absolutely kill it out there.
All right, I'll take that advice, man. Anyways, April 28th, man. In a few days, you'll be back in action. Thank you so much, Brendan, for the time.
Let's go, brother. Thank you very much. Peace out.